FluentCast. Real English, real conversations, real confidence. This is FluentCast.
Hello, and welcome back to FluentCast, the podcast where we explore the intersection of language, culture, and the world we live in. I'm your host, Diego, and before we dive into today's topic, if you are enjoying our episodes and want to keep improving your English through real-world discussions, make sure to hit that subscribe button on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you listen. It really helps us grow our community. Okay, so if you are listening to this on your phone right now, and probably most of you are, I need you to put it face down for the next 15 minutes. Not because I'm gonna say something dangerous, but because what I'm about to discuss is literally about what happens to your brain when you can't do that. Today, I want to talk about attention, about focus, and about the very real possibility that we as a generation, as a species, are getting measurably less intelligent. But don't worry, I've got someone here to help me in this discussion. She is a familiar voice to FluentCast listeners, the brilliant Brenda Richards. If you haven't heard those episodes, go back and listen to them. They're awesome. Brenda, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Diego. Always good to be here. And I have to say, the phone request at the start, I appreciate that.
Right. Brenda, I want to start today with something that crossed my radar recently and honestly disturbed me. Actor Matt Damon apparently revealed that Netflix is now producing films specifically for viewers who are watching while using their phones. The main theme gets repeated 3 or 4 times in the dialogue because people are too distracted to catch it once. Action scenes have to happen within the first 5 minutes, otherwise people leave. Does that surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me at all. And it's actually worse than that, because there's research from Cornell University showing that films today have significantly less narrative diversity than films from 20 or 30 years ago. The plots are simpler, less original, and individual scene cuts now average around 4 seconds. 4 seconds. Because the brain has been trained to expect a new stimulus every few seconds. And if it doesn't get one, it starts looking for one elsewhere. Like on the phone that's sitting next to you.
So the films are adapting to the distracted brain rather than challenging it.
Exactly. And the industry has a financial incentive to do that, which makes it a self-reinforcing cycle.
Oh, that is really disturbing. And also, Microsoft actually studied this. They called it attention atrophy, which is a term I want to explain for our listeners because it's important. Atrophy means when something weakens or wastes away from the lack of use. For example, if you don't use your muscles, you will get muscle atrophy. The idea is that our attention works in the same way. If you never practiced sustained focus, your capacity for it shrinks. And Microsoft found that since the year 2000, the average human attention span has dropped from 12 seconds to just 8 seconds.
That's the finding, yes, totally correct. Our average attention span reduced to 8 seconds. I do want to add a small observation to something that often gets attached to that statistic. You'll hear people say, we now have a shorter attention span than a goldfish. That line spread because journalists loved it. The goldfish number itself is not well established scientifically.
Oh, I get it. People are always telling me, I've got the memory of a goldfish, like blink and it's gone. Basically, they are comparing themselves to Dory from Finding Nemo.
Yes, because 8 seconds of average sustained attention is genuinely very low, and the trend is moving in the wrong direction.
And this connects to something bigger, because for the first time in modern history, average IQ scores are going down. Not in one country, but globally.
Oh, yes. IQ scores are going down. The Flynn effect, which is the name researchers gave to the steady rise in IQ scores across the 20th century, appears to be reversing. We got smarter for 100 years, and now we're getting less smart. The correlation is very strong. Constant digital distraction appears to be genuinely impairing the cognitive functions we use for deep thinking, such as sustained attention, working memory, and analytical reasoning. If you think about this, it is a deeply concerning and scary trend, which make us all question, are we really getting dumber?
Are we? That's a very good question. Let's talk about music for a second. Because there is data showing that since the 80s, the linguistic variety in popular music has dropped by more than 14%. Songs have gotten simpler, repetitive, using basic vocabulary, and talking about lyrics, the range of the themes has collapsed. It's now mostly about heartbreak or partying hard. Poetry has left the building.
Music is a super interesting example because it works in two ways. It shows a problem and also creates one. First, music changed when people started listening on streaming apps and then on TikTok. Now, musicians try to make songs that grab your attention in the first 3 seconds. If they don't, people just swipe to the next video. This isn't really about what the artist feels like creating. It's because the app's rules and algorithms push them to do it that way. It's so rare to see songs lasting more than 3 minutes nowadays. There are songs that are just 1 minute. It's incredibly rare to encounter songs that exceed 3 minutes in length these days. In contrast, we had songs that were 4 to 6 minutes long, or even longer in the past.
So art is actually being shaped by the attention problem rather than pushing back against it.
So here's the thing. From the brain's point of view, when music is made only to grab your attention fast, we lose something important. For most songs in the past, the message in the lyrics held as much importance as the rhythm. You had to follow a song or a story as it unfolds, experiencing its ups and downs. This process required focus and thoughtful consideration. It engaged your brain and stimulated its activity. However, in recent times, songs have become more focused on trends and social media. Consequently, the message in the lyrics has become less significant.
Which makes me think about AI again, because this is the part that I think is the most alarming recent development. I know MIT published a research showing that people who use AI tools like ChatGPT on a daily basis are showing signs of what they are calling cognitive atrophy.
This is very consistent with what we know about neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself based on what it practices. And we talked a lot about it a few episodes ago. The brain is not static. It builds and maintains pathways through use. If you stop using certain pathways, stop writing your own sentences, stop holding arguments in working memory, those pathways weaken.
And that is the scary part, because our brain adapts to what we do. Brenda, there is one more piece of data that I want to bring up. And I know it's uncomfortable, but research shows that people with higher IQs are currently having fewer children than people with lower IQs. Which means this isn't just about individuals making choices, the population level effect is compounding.
This is a real pattern we can see in groups of people. It connects to everything we talked about. The same social and money problems that are linked to lower average IQ, like not having good schools, spending more time with TV and games, and now spending more time on social media, on smartphones, and not having enough time to learn because life is hard, are also linked to some groups having more babies.
So what do we actually do with all of this, Brenda? Because I don't want to end this episode with everyone feeling hopeless.
The most important thing is to protect the cognitive behaviours that are under threat. Reading long-form text, writing by hand, having conversations that require you to hold a position and defend it. They are the exercises that maintain the brain's capacity for deep thought. And for anyone listening who has children, this is urgent. Get them reading, get them writing their own words, teach them to be bored without reaching for a screen, because boredom is where original thought begins.
Boredom is where original thought begins. Brenda, that's a very nice line.
You can use it.
Brenda, I feel like we are just scratching the surface here. This conversation is opening a door to something much bigger. Like, how do we actually navigate a world like this? How do we resist the constant pull of brain rot culture?
Honestly, it's the $1,000,000 question. It feels like the perfect setup for what we have planned next.
Exactly. So, how would you sum up our next topic? Give the listeners a simple version of it.
Oh, easy. How to survive a world full of idiots.
There you have it. Consider that our teaser for next week's episode. And to our listeners, if you've made it to the end of this episode without getting distracted, give yourself some credit. In a world fighting for every second of your attention, focus is a superpower.
Definitely. It's a rare skill these days.
It really is. Brenda, I'd like to thank you, as always, for the insight, for being here. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Diego. This was such an important conversation, and we'll be back together again on next week's episode.
And for our listeners, if today's episode made you think, and I truly hope it did, please share it with one person who needs to hear this. Word of mouth makes a world of difference for us here at FluentCast. I'm Diego, and this was FluentCast. Don't forget to tune in for part 2 next Monday. We'll see you then. Take care, everyone, and bye-bye.
FluentCast is a production of Fluent English Academy. To learn English in a natural and practical way, visit www.fluentenglishacademy.com.br.